Welcome back to the Comic Book ASM Artist. Today we're going to be taking a look at this nice Captain America, the first 80 years book. This came out a little while ago, but it's just one of those things that's been sitting on my shelf waiting for me to show it off. And so we're just going to go ahead and delve right into it. So this they actually produced in two forms. I got the hardcover version. They also had this in like a magazine format, and so there's two ways to get it here. But just really love the presentation, and this is just straight up a timeline. Like you can literally see the entirety of the Captain America publishing history here. So really nice. We get to see a lot of great artwork here. See quite a few Alex Ross things. A lot of classic stuff. We see in the contents here, it literally goes through every decade and kind of the tent poles of each period. And as you all know, Captain America is my favorite superhero. Batman and him are tied for my favorite, but he just slightly nudges it more because there was the Toy Biz action figure in 1990 I got for Christmas that I just thought was really neat when I was like 5 or 6 or so. And I was like, I really like this guy. He's really bright. At that time, I didn't see a lot of Captain America stuff. So I was like, I'm going to start collecting Captain America. So yeah, we see a nice picture here of Jack Kirby, the co-creator, along with Joe Simon. Some retro stuff here from the first issue, and then I was fortunate enough, this is the traditional image here of Cap. As you've seen on a video about a year or so ago, I was able to get this nice Joe Simon sketch commission on this Fallen Sun book from back in the day. I was able to get this off of eBay, and yeah, it's a recreation of that same kind of pose there. So really lucky to have this. Not many people can say that they've got, drawing from one of the original creators. And he's passed away since then, unfortunately. So, and Jack's been gone for a long time. So we see the origin here. And then we see this was Stan Lee's first published comic work, I believe. I forget which issue of Captain America it is. I think it's number 4. Or maybe it's number 2. Let's see. No, number 3. Okay. So, and then when Stan passed, I did a reading of that with Bruce Timm's new art. So I'll leave a link to that below, but let's continue on here. We see the All-Winter stuff with Human Torch and Namor and some lesser-known guys here. Black Marvel, the Angel, of course Toro, like the kid's sidekick of the Human Torch. And then I would love to find one of these badges. This is like the last piece of my collection I think I'd really need, since I've got that Joe Simon sketch. I have a Jack Kirby signed Silver Surfer Fantastic Four pin set, but I would love to have that too. And then, yeah, so we see the timeline here. This is always an interesting part. So Captain America #1 actually came out before we joined the war effort for World War II here. So December 20th, 1940 is when Cap #1 came out. Then as a response to Pearl Harbor, we joined December 1941. And then, yeah, they introduced this random female character. I think this may have been the last issue or close to it here. I'm trying to remember her name. I think it's just, yeah, Golden Girl. So I've read about the first 12 or so, like Golden Age stories, And then I've literally read every Captain America from Tales of Suspense all the way through um, to current. So, granted, that wasn't all like the physical copies, but I've read quite a bit. And then, oh, I think this is coming up here. So, the 1950s, this is when they did like the whole commie smasher Cap stuff. And then this is when, did I miss it on the other page here? No, I don't think I have. Okay. So yeah, John Romita Sr. started working on Captain America. And so that's pretty cool. He's always known for his, his work he did on Spider-Man and stuff, but he worked on Captain America before that. This iconic image here. And then they brought these characters back later on. They revealed they weren't actually Steve Rogers and Bucky. Interesting stuff. It talks about him here. And there we go, blurb on John Romita. And then this is talking about the Comics Code Authority stuff with Dr. Wertham, the seduction of the innocent, and all the stuff about the inappropriate things in comics. We see the Steranko Captain America there, and then we see this is when Cap got thawed back out. Avengers number 4, which once again I'm fortunate enough to have my own. It's not a high grade copy, but cover is pretty nice and it was affordable, so I'm lucky I can say that I have this. And then it talks about the Marvel Revolution in general, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, all that type of stuff coming about. Jim Steranko there. Stan Lee. I don't know why there's not a big picture of Joe Simon anywhere in here. And then this is where they delved into the origin once again for Captain America. So yeah, whenever Captain America got thawed back out and all that good stuff, eventually he shared a book with Iron Man here, and even there's the issue previous before this, what is it, number 58, I believe, that they're not showing here, was Cap versus Iron Man, but then it was like not the real Cap, if I remember, or something like that, so. But yeah, they shared a book together, Tales of Suspense, and then issue number 100, it became Captain America's own book. Let me see, Batroc here, who I mispronounced his name wrong for years. I thought it was Bartok, like the bat from Anastasia, but I was mistaken. Nick Fury. See the creation of the Falcon here, and he's certainly come into his own and become a very important part in the Captain America mythos. And then we see more of the timeline here in the 60s. Let me see some of the Steranko, very high layout, artistic formatting for his run on Cap, which was just a few issues, but very, very memorable, very visually striking. And for the longest time, and this might still be the earliest Captain America issue I own here. I think, what is this one? Yeah, Captain America 115, which is a great story there with the cosmic cube and everything. Captain America gets switched places with the Red Skull's mind. Nice Steranko image there. Now we get into the 70s. This is when, like, Jack Kirby got brought back to Cap, but not quite yet. So, yeah, we're getting there. Jack didn't come on till, I think, issue 200, or close to it. Before that, I think Romita is what they were saying worked on it. Trying to vaguely recall here. Not sure. Well, it looks like Jack came a little before issue 200. I see 196 there. But I know me personally, I was fortunate enough when I was in college. I found a lot on eBay, which way back, this was before the movies were huge or anything. I found a lot from issue 200 to about what I had collected to the rebirth stuff. Heroes Reborn, Heroes Return. And I think I got it at a lot for like $100 or $150, something really crazy like that. So I had all the physical issues from 200 through, and then unfortunately someone stole my entire comic collection and sold it off. It was a quote-unquote friend of ours when we transitioned to move up here. So if I reacquire the stories now at this point, I'll probably just do it in trades. I have quite a few trades for Cap. I think this is, now we're still not to 200, but I know like this is right around that time. The Mad Bomb, the machine that makes everyone angry and hateful. We see some John Byrne, Captain America, also a very popular run for sure. It's in that line where Captain America uses his shield to behead Baron Blood, the vampire character. Gene Colan, another great artist who had not done a lot in Cap, but the stuff he did was very striking. Sal Buscema worked on Captain America for a long, long time. But unfortunately, I wasn't too fond of his style. I don't know, I just felt it was just kind of a in-between, as well as Steve Englehart. They did serviceable work, and I mean, it's still way better than I could do, of course. But, yeah, it just felt like it was just kind of like an in-between what Jack could do, and I don't know, it just felt kind of out of place to me. Nothing that really grabbed me about it, you know. And then we see the timeline here. So let's see here. So 1975 was when Jack Kirby returned. And then number 193 was his first redrawing, I believe, yeah. Yeah, that's correct. And then we go into the 80s with the John Byrne stuff here. It's great. Mike Zeck, Cap versus Deathlock there. And then, yeah, I had all these. And actually, when my son was being born in the hospital, I brought a stack of the Cap books with me, and I was about in this area right here reading these when he was in the downtime in the nursery and stuff like that in the hospital. I had taken the time to eat a strawberry Sunday good humor ice cream bar in the cafeteria and read some Cap books over there, but I remember that pretty well. And then, yeah, more stuff here. Cap versus the Red Skull. And then we see Nomad stuff. I feel like Nomad was a little bit sooner, but they glossed over it maybe. And then we see Grunwald stuff. Once again, not really anything striking to me about it, unfortunately. But that happens, you know. And then the stuff with the U.S. agent here. John Walker's first appearance in this one, which I have on my shelf somewhere. There's the U.S. agent there. And then the stuff with D-Man. And then we continue on. Secret Wars was in the middle there. So, yeah, we see the mid-80s there. When I was born, and I wasn't a Cap fan yet. Goes on here. So, Yeah, John Walker premiered November 1986. Some great covers in there. This is an iconic one here. Another nice Mike Zeck image here, I believe. Could be wrong. I think that's him, though. 1990s. And then I know I used to have this one. This was actually Jim Lee helped with this cover here, the Captain America annual. Jim Lee did the inks though, so the regular cover was by Ron Lim, but Jim Lee inked it. So a fun cover there. And then we see the Cap Wolf stuff, which I wasn't a fan of actually. A lot of people reference it. I mean, it's something to point to, but it's nothing that I enjoyed. I thought it was just odd. And then there was the period when Cap was slowly dying, and so Iron Man gave him the suit to help keep him alive a bit. This was around the death of Superman stuff too. DC and Marvel was trying to grab some of that attention, which I don't think it worked too well. And then the Mark Waid run here, which was really great. This was before the return. They still had him and blinking on him in this moment. Ron Garney doing the book. And then yeah, so it's 400s here. And then we had the Infinity Gauntlet, but this was earlier too. I don't know why they decided to show it there. And then there's the brief period of the Liefeld, Jeff Loeb, Captain America run, which did okay, but I don't think anyone was really like tripping over themselves for it. He's trying to bring life back into the books. And then of course X-Men #1, which just kind of put the whole, I don't know why it's here though. X-Men #1 came out like 1991, so that's actually a screw up in this book. So yeah, because this says Onslaught event with the spectacular Onslaught X-Men #1. Yeah, that's not the right X-Men #1, so they screw up in this book. But yeah. But this is when I started collecting Captain America every month here. Felt it was a good jumping on point. Got it at my local base exchange at the time. My dad was a retired Coast Guard guy, so they had it on the shelf. And that's when I formally started to get it. And then they had the Sentinel of Liberty, which was a 12-part mini-series, or maxi-series, I guess. So that's that. And then we had the Adventures of Captain America. This was kind of like mid-90s too, but it's one of my favorite storylines as well. So I was fortunate enough to meet Kevin McGuire and get him to sign that. It's got just really good, really high detailed art in it. Kind of more common stuff in the first one. It really focuses on the character of Steve Rogers a lot. The later stuff though is really fun. You can see like all the scales and stuff, and then the cover is raised as well. But towards the end, like they go to a death camp and break out all the Jewish people there who are being tortured and killed, and just really, really phenomenal story. I highly recommend it. And we go all the way into the 2000s here. See the response to 9/11, another great run for Captain America. A lot of people lauded John Cassaday with the high detail work, but I would say a lot of, especially the work with the costume, was inspired by Kevin McGuire's take, which was earlier. But I didn't even know that myself. Like, I discovered that later on. And then we have Avengers Disassembled, Civil War, House of M. In this period here, this made me really hate Iron Man, so the story did its job. Although, Iron Man didn't kill Captain America. being the good fanboy that I was, it upset me that Tony Stark was such a pivotal point in it. Although technically his girlfriend is the one who shot and killed him. But yeah, I remember too when I picked up the Captain America #1 by Brubaker and Epting, and just being so stunned by it. Basically, this storyline was what you always wished they would do with the character, and even in my own mind, I had certain elements of this that I wished that they would have done, and then they did. So I was like, I can't believe they had done this. And then the first issue, Red Skull gets sniped here, and we later find that it was Bucky as the Winter Soldier, and just really great. Best modern Cap story, which now is nearing like 10 years or so. I guess it's already past 10 years, so crazy. So it's hard to really pinpoint a new good modern story for like Cap for this time period. And then we have the Death of Captain America stuff there. I got the Director's Cut 1, and I was fortunate enough to meet Ed Brubaker there. And it was real nice to meet him. I said, I've read literally every issue of Captain America published. He's like, wow, you must have read quite a few bad stories, which honestly, yeah. If you go through and read the history of any superhero, though, all the way through, they can't all be classics. But yeah, I absolutely loved Brubaker's run. It was really something to me. And then we see the stuff here with Isaiah Bradley. This is a mini series here. And it's one that they're standing on now, and I think they're going to do more with it, probably with the Disney Plus type stuff, I would imagine. One I need to go back and get here is Captain America The Chosen. It was a modern story where like they're seeing like the ghost of Cap helping with the soldiers who are serving overseas fighting. So it's more really good stuff. See Ultimate Captain America here. A really good, one of my favorite newer Cap stories. Just like a 4-issue mini-series, but it's very cool. And I would say what they heavily relied on for Cap's initial character in the cinematic universe. And then there's the return here where he comes back, all the Brian Hitch stuff, which was okay. And then I have this signed, the big old poster of it in my room. It's not a poster, it's a 11 by 17 print, but still, absolutely love Epting's work. And then Steve starts to, when he comes back, he doesn't take the spot from Bucky, but he takes on a role as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. So he's Steve Rogers' super soldier. And they bring back the laser glowy shield from the Heroes Reborn storyline when his shield got crushed. And then here I think is the Bucky cap with the hammer, if I remember. I could be wrong. Well, it's Fear itself, so it's supposed to be, I think. I don't remember. All I know is at the end of Fear itself, Bucky's arm gets cut off again, I think, and he got like smashed by the Red Skull's daughter in like a giant like Nazi robot type thing. And then we have A versus X, Avengers versus X-Men. And this started when I moved here, so this was like the first thing I was trying to collect when we moved here. And I think this was probably the last like big event for Marvel that I enjoyed. And then after this, it was just kind of, And then shortly thereafter, they did the Marvel Now relaunch with the characters, and so they put Captain America in this like strange dimensional universe here, Dimension Z, where Arnim Zola was like the king, And then he has like a kid and all this weird stuff. And then since he was missing in action, if I remember, I can't remember all the details, but then I remember Falcon took over as Captain America for quite a few years. And then we see the relaunch with the #1, and I actually have this one. It's in my box somewhere. I've got so many boxes, but this one, it's in one of my long boxes, and it's signed by Rick Remender. And what he likes to do is actually doodle on the cover. So he did a doodle on here where he gave him like a mohawk in a chain, kind of like a Mr. T sort of thing. Did that at Emerald City. And then we see one of the things that made me the angriest here was the Hail Hydra Captain America saying, hey, he was a sleeper agent the whole time. Which, yeah, to this day, I just kind of want to gloss over this and not think about it. And then, like, they said Steve was actually in a cube or something, and I don't know. I still don't know how they explained it away, but basically, like, the Captain America that they pulled out of the cube beat up the Hydra Cap and, is still trying to repair his name. There's Brubaker right there. And then we have the current stuff here with Ta-Nehisi Coates, which has been okay, but I wouldn't say it's anything that's amazing. It's just kind of a run, which he just wrapped his run on it. Lots of nice Alec Ross covers, though. And then here's a collection showing all the covers. And then, yeah, here's some of the other books you can find. This is one I'm interested in, too, the first 80 years. And then they have one for the cinematic universe as well, which they advertise right here. All right, well, that's going to do it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see. And as always, you have a super slumber. Thanks. Bye.